Hello, I'm Bob Neve, President and Executive Director of the Clearview Center in Omaha, Nebraska, USA. I'm going to speak quickly because I know 4 to 7 minutes goes by really fast. I went to college with Andrea Amelinckx back in the early 1980s, and I love doing short little educational videos like this, especially for my friend Andrea. I'll make my first comment short about what I think about our nation's response to the crisis. I think our elected officials have done a horrible job. I don't listen to them at all. I only listen to doctors and scientists and researchers. Oh, I also listen to Jim Cramer on CNBC at 5 o'clock, so I know what my stocks are doing and where to put my cash. I read as many articles as I can from the Associated Press app and Reuters app. Read what scientists and doctors report, and I pretty much ignore anything the politicians say, given the history of American politicians. Especially in my state of Nebraska, our governor is particularly ineffective. And not a great critical thinker. So based on ignoring the politicians and listening to research, we made a series of quick decisions at the Clearview Center. Oh, let me tell you about us. We are a mental health and substance abuse treatment center, outpatient only. We have 5 therapists and 1 intern. Our gross revenues are about $350,000 a year. This gives a good living wage to all our employees. Minimum wage at the Clearview Center is $19 an hour, so our lowest paid person gets just under $40,000 a year. We also consider our brick and mortar building as an extra employee. We pay about $42,000 a year in rent. But since my wife and I own the building, the value appreciates, the debt goes down, so it's a nice little supplemental income for retirement. It's a good investment. The Clearview Center Inc. is incorporated as an S corporation. My wife and I are both the owners. Our adjusted gross income last year was about $101,000, and of course that doesn't include all the benefits we get from owning our own business, claiming all of our travel as business expense, 100% deduction of celebratory food and drink at the office, etc., etc. We really make more than that, really closer to $80,000 or $90,000 a year each in real income. We incorporated 8 years ago. Before that, I was a Schedule C sole proprietor, doing all the therapy myself. My wife Sherry taught for Omaha Public Schools for 21 years. Quit that job a few years ago to get her master's in clinical counseling, the same degree I have, so she could join my practice. So our clients are people with substance use disorders, depression, anxiety mainly. About 70 to 75% of our income comes from a contract with the state of Nebraska Department of Corrections. The money the taxpayers pay for prisons, some of that money is used for people on probation and parole, and we see them to do therapy. We know that from studies from the University of Nebraska, Omaha, every dollar the state spends on therapy is returned 3 to 5-fold. In the real wages earned by my clients that they would not be earning if they were drunk or high or depressed, not to mention reduction in crime, theft, uninsured emergency medical expenses that are greatly reduced as a result of good therapy. About 5% of our income is cash pay. The rest is insurance. We take Blue Cross, Aetna, Cigna, United Healthcare, and a few others. So here's the impact that COVID has had on us. We have way more business than we can handle. Naturally, during this period of time, people who are already susceptible to mental health issues are particularly distressed by the health threats, the social changes. They call us. We see them more hours. My wife and I have been working about 70 hours a week for the past 8 weeks. We had our last group session in our physical building on March 16th, and we've done everything else on GoToMeeting. Zoom was unable to provide us with the proper HIPAA documentation, but Centrix, the company that owns GoToMeeting, was able to do that for us back in November 2019. It just so happens that last year, looking at different revenue streams, we really had a deep desire to reach people in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, who had to drive hours to get to treatment centers. So last year, we adapted our programs to be ready for teleservices, specifically the people living in outstate Nebraska. We obtained the needed permissions from the Department of Corrections, and then in February, March this year, the whole COVID thing happened. So it turns out we're far more prepared than most places. So being so well prepared, then when the word got out, we drove even more business our way. And in the last several weeks, we've started turning away clients that we would never be able to get to just because there's just limited hours in the day. And that's the nature of our business. We do really well when the country's in crisis. We do really well when things are going really well. People have extra money in their pockets. They come to us for enlightenment and self-analysis and getting to know themselves better and career planning and life mission planning and success, relationship success courses that we teach. Our business ebbs slightly when everything is normal and nothing much is going on, but only slightly, because pretty much all the time there are way more alcoholics and addicts and depressed and anxious people in our city than there are therapists, so we almost always have a waiting list. So my insight for you college students is this: if you want to go into psychology or counseling to be a therapist, it is, and I'm convinced will always be, a very financially secure career. When drunk driving goes down, opiate use goes up, and throughout my 18 years in this profession, I've never seen a time where it's been difficult to find clients. So here's an insight that I'll bet none of you have thought of. So you're there going to college, studying your brains out, probably drinking too much, maybe imbibing on some recreational pharmaceuticals that maybe aren't great for you, that maybe put your brain into a state of thinking it needs healing so it stops its natural growth. So now, if you end up depressed and anxious and addicted and drop out of college, go get some good therapy. Get yourself clean and sober. Call me after you've been clean and sober a couple years. You'll make a great therapist. The point is to be optimistic, never give up, and always know that no matter how bad things look, you can always be the one to help others through difficult situations. My goal in life has been for 20 years to help people through the struggles I've been through, to make a positive contribution to the next generation, and to have fun doing it. So if you have questions, feel free to send me an email. I'll send you a link so we can do a go-to meeting together if you want. Oh, and by the way, Andrea, you might